I wanted to show you something because this is actually showing it really nicely. When you sand this stuff, you notice I'm just letting the sandpaper do all the work. And I don't want to hit this door at all. So what I do is I come through here and I'll sand the edge. But what that does is you see all these little shiny spots that are still showing? These are nicks and dings and gouges and stuff from, opening and closing it with your fingers. But the another thing that you can notice is the shinier spots are deeper than this stuff up here. This is a lot higher than this stuff, so it's like kind of like offset. You know what I mean? It's not flush. And when you sand it, you notice this right here. I would call that a sag. That's a perfect example of something that you get when your paint is just a hair too thick and it's not drying faster than it's setting up. You'll get stuff like that. So you got to keep sanding this. You got to keep sanding this out until you can get those shiny spots out, and that's what you call cutting it. Now you notice how it's starting to get, how you start to see some white shine through. That's the primer. But I want to paint from here over. I'll probably end up having to do this whole piece, but that's not. That's something different. But I just wanted to show you guys, like, this is a perfect example of like how much sanding you got to do to get a really smooth finish, to put another smooth finish, to put a smooth coat over top of it to where it looks good. Like, that's the difference between finish like this and a cut finish that looks like this, like a polish. So you just keep sanding it, but you just keep sanding it until all that shiny stuff's out of there. And you notice how I'm stopping at that. You notice how I'm stopping at this butt edge or this butt joint? It's because I don't want to get too into this. I want to keep all my work right here. I'm trying to separate it. But I was basically wanting to show you guys like the difference in why this stuff's shiny and the different layers of paint. And like this right here is a perfect example of like this shiny stuff right there. That's how much more you got to keep sanding until all that shiny stuff's going, until it's all dull like this. You want to keep sanding all this out until it's like this, all the way across. And then you got a nice, good, smooth, flush level that you can paint. I'm not saying that every time you sand something that's what you want to do, but I'm just saying, if you're looking for a glass finish, like a glass smooth finish, that's how you do it. As you're saying, like if you look at paint under a microscope, it looks like a bunch of, it's what it looks like. bunch of hills. Like, it's real knotty. And you gotta sand those hills down to where everything's flush. But my main goal right now is to get all these chips sanded out so I can paint it, which the chips are way deeper than the paint. So I'm not gonna be able to do that. So what I can do is sand down to a good level and then paint it. Because like when I first started this, I'm really only looking to just touch this thing out. So I'm trying not to go too far. It's literally just a touch up and go. But needless to say, when you sand it, that's the stuff you look for. Like, especially that sag right there. Like, that dude, it's actually kind of tall. So what I'll do is when I do this, like now that I got this, I'll take some paint and put a real thin coat over top of it. And then once that dries, I'll put another coat over top of that. And maybe the third coat. But right now, I'm just going to keep it right here. And then I'm going to blend it into this. Then I'll put a final on the whole thing. But for the most part, like, there's a sag right there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a sag right here. Can't really tell. It's kind of sanded out, really. But yeah, when you're doing stuff like this, you tell, like, what you saying is because the stuff like this. When you're saying it, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for this stuff. We'll keep sanding that area until it looks like this. Until it's all broken up and it's not that bad. That's why when people saying something, they'll dust it real quick so they can get a good look at like what's there. They're looking for this. They're looking for this stuff, the shiny stuff, because that tells them that they got to keep sanding until they get to it. But that's just the nature of the beast with sanding. Like, if this whole thing was a lacquer, we would do that process across the whole thing. We'd get it laid out and keep sanding until all the shiny's going. And then we'd shoot it again. Sand it till all the shiny stuff's going, and then we shoot it again. And that's part of the process of getting a glass finish. Like a glass finish. Like, that's how you get that, where you can see yourself in it. But it's just for anybody that's interested. If you can, just hit that subscribe button, leave a comment if you like, and hit that like button because YouTube loves it for some reason. Love you and God bless.